One of the most surprising action roguelikes of recent years wasn't a hidden indie gem, and it wasn't made by a passionate underdog studio. It was a free update, quietly hidden inside a 100-hour Ubisoft open world. Let me explain. Ubisoft is a company notorious for squeezing cash out of players with microtransactions, bloated open worlds, and deeply mediocre DLCs. Their formula is as predictable as it gets. Map icons, endless fetch quests, and combat loops designed never to push you out of your comfort zone. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was that corporate formula at its absolute limit. So, when they announced Forgotten Saga, a free DLC dropped right at the end of the game's lifecycle, I didn't expect much, especially considering even their paid expansions are usually underwhelming at best. Instead, I got one of the most surprising game design pivots of the entire decade. To understand why this expansion works, you have to look at the massive design conflict here. The issue with Ubisoft isn't that their games are bad, it's that they are optimized for safety. Their titles are engineered so you can never truly fail, which also means they can never truly surprise you. The roguelike genre is the exact opposite. It thrives on high risk, total variance, and meaningful failure. It's a design philosophy completely at odds with Ubisoft's DNA. Yet Forgotten Saga throws you into Niflheim as Odin to rescue Baldur, strips away your high-level gear, and resets your progress the moment you die. You start every run with a random weapon and 0 main game upgrades, in what is easily Ubisoft's most surprisingly solid attempt at the roguelike genre. It's as if someone took a textbook titled How to Build an Action Roguelike and actually followed it. We get everything you'd expect from the genre. High-stakes combat encounters, distinct biomes, weapons and artifact drafting, branching paths where choices matter, escalating boss fights, and permanent meta progression to keep the loop rewarding. What makes this work is how it destroys the autopilot problem. I spent over 100 hours in base Valhalla executing the exact same broken combo, which by the way I can't show you because Ubisoft's cloud actually ate my save. But Forgotten Saga completely removes that illusion of choice. By forcing randomized gear and abilities onto you, it forces you to adapt, learn new movesets, and actually engage with the combat mechanics. Even stealth assassinations carry real tension again, because you need every advantage you can get. What's fascinating about Forgotten Saga is that your background with the franchise completely shapes your experience. If you've never played Valhalla or any of the RPG-era Assassin's Creed games, this might actually be where you have the most fun. Every system, animations and combat mechanic will feel fresh. On the flip side, if you're a veteran, it might feel a bit too easy at default. The loop itself borrows some of the best tricks in the genre. Every time you die, you're greeted with evolving story beats, with bosses explicitly reacting to the fact that you're back for another attempt, a brilliant nod to Hades. And the meta progression tree is surprisingly massive. Reminiscent of Rogue Legacy, you're constantly upgrading your base stats, abilities and gear in the main camp. That progression opens up some genuinely fun build synergies. On one of my runs, I picked up a rune that changed shock damage between nearby targets. A few fights later, I found a legendary hammer that triggered explosive shockwaves on hit. Watching an entire group of enemies melt in a chain reaction of lightning was incredibly satisfying, and proved that the systems here actually work. Honestly, there are so many good ideas packed into this mode, and I haven't even talked about everything, that it feels like a waste for it to be buried as a side activity. I'd love to see Ubisoft take this exact framework and turn it into a standalone game. I originally beat this DLC back in 2025, so for this video I only intended to capture a quick 20 minutes of fresh gameplay, and ended up losing another 10 straight hours to it. There are two major issues you need to know about. First, it's not infinite. The content depth doesn't match dedicated standalone roguelikes like Hades or Dead Cells. It also still relies on Valhalla's base combat engine and enemy AI. If you fundamentally dislike the core mechanics, this won't magically change your mind. Second is the entry barrier. While you only need a relatively cheap base game to access it, Ubisoft locked this mode behind main story progression. You have to sink roughly 10 hours into the base game just to upgrade your settlement enough to unlock Niflheim. Despite those flaws, what we've got here is a genuinely brilliant action roguelike hidden inside the bloated AAA game. It came out in 2022, and to this day it boggles my mind that it came from Ubisoft. Considering the company's reputation, it's profoundly ironic that the single best thing they released this decade costs absolutely nothing. If you want to try this mode without sinking 10 hours into the base campaign, I actually kept a clean save file right before the unlock points. Drop a comment below if you want me to share the link. And let me know if you think AAA studios should experiment with mechanics like this more often. If you've enjoyed this short essay, hit the like button and subscribe to Rogue's Den for more roguelike content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next run.